Hey guys, it's Ben here with Games Bulletin. I'm joined by Daisy, a lead developer on Deserter. It's an interesting game, it's an interesting story, it's very mysterious. So why don't we sort of go through what the story of the game is and how that's going to play out, really?
Sure. So in Deserter, the players take on the role of a medic, carrying the unconscious body of a soldier to safety whilst they desert. So you're using the weight of this body to progress through the environment, solving a weight-based puzzle on your way and picking up on various narrative clues which explain who you are, why you deserted, and what the secret is that keeps you two together in the first place.
It's very subtle, isn't it? Because it's not like, I mean, I don't know if it's different for the rest of the game, but in the demo that we played, there was no like plot, like cinematic. It was very much like the characters talking to one another and you picking up on what they were saying. So is that how all of it is? Is it all kind of through the characters talking to one another?
Yeah, well, I'm really glad you picked up on that because I'm a huge fan of games that integrate the story in the gameplay. I'm not really a fan of games cutscene. I kind of feel like if you're choosing to play a game, you should be always active participant in it. So it was really important to me that I wasn't freezing the player controls or anything at any point, which has led to some design difficulties because people are like running around when they're meant to be stood still. So you are opening yourself up to some design risks in doing that, which I'm going to have to reconsider. But I'm a huge fan of games like Inside, which manage to drip feed the story without being too invasive in the actual player's time.
Yeah. So it's very kind of, it has got an inside vibe to it. And there was one section where there was, like you said, there was a weight puzzle. So is it going to be sort of light puzzles throughout the game, or is it going to be these big puzzles that you kind of have to solve and work out?
If I do end up expanding on it, I'd really like to keep working with this mechanic where you're using the weight of the other character to progress through the environment, because I think it's quite often in these weight-based puzzles and games, you pick up a box and you put it on the platform, and then once you've used it to solve the puzzle, you just leave it behind. And I like the idea of having this emotional connection to the thing you're using to solve the puzzle, because it's a bit dark and it's a bit creepy, and I think it ties in with the narrative without giving too many spoilers away.
So about the narrative, what made you pick a nurse and a soldier deserting? Like when you was thinking of creating a game, what made you latch onto that idea?
Well, I was lent a DVD of Paths of Glory, like Stanley Kubrick's first film, last year, and I thought it was like a really interesting look at military desertion from a human perspective. And there's so many video games looking at military stories and stuff like that, but there aren't many that examine non-heroic characters. There's things like This War of Mine, which is really inspiring, but I wanted to make a game where the character is a female anti-hero and is starting from the offset in a transgressive mode.
Okay.
Yeah, and yeah, so that was...
That's fair enough. So in terms of your release ideas, what have you got planned for? Is there a date or is there just a time frame? What's it releasing on?
Well, after EGX, inevitably you're going to find a bunch of bugs you didn't know existed. So I'm going to fix those. That's my number one step. And then I'm going to really think about how much to expand it, because I really like short-term content in video games. I like episodic games. I like games you can access online very cheaply and have like a 50-minute experience or whatever. So my plan is to keep it small, and I really hope to release it on itch once I've fixed it up a bit more. Yeah.
Right, well, you guys should definitely check it out when it does release on itch. It's I really want to see what this secret is, because you keep alluding to it, and it's obvious that there's something in the demo, but you don't ever find out even like the smallest little hint. So you guys should definitely check it out. Thank you very much for allowing me to interview, and yeah, I hope to see where your game goes.